My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to We Want Picks. My name is Jacob, aka the Freckled Settlement. They're here to bring you my full card breakdown for UFC 317. But before we get into this week's breakdown, we're locked the fuck in now. The Indiana Pacers are done. The season is over. Halliburton is hurt. But that just means we are locked the fuck in. Have we gone astray a little bit? Possibly. Maybe. But we're locked in now. Ready for the summer of a lifetime. So make sure you go to WeWantPicks.com. Become a premium member today. Only $10 a month. Like the video if you haven't already. Subscribe if you are new. Enough of the shenanigans. Let's get right into the breakdown. First fight of the night is going to be Niko Price versus Jacobe Smith. Boy, I'll tell you what. If Jacobe Smith isn't finishing this guy in a horrible, brutal fashion in the first round of this fight, that Niko Price-Robbie Lawler fight was the fix everyone said it was. I'm telling you right now, this guy Jacobe Smith should look like Malcolm Wellmaker against Chris Motino in this fight. He's a wrestler, he's a grappler, but his striking is precise and powerful. And Niko Price, as much as he can be durable at times, is just a human walking punching bag, a heavy bag, a speed bag, whatever you want to hit, you can hit on him. In his last fight against Temba, we had Temba lighting this guy up. I'm telling you right now, if Jacobe does not knock this guy out in the first round, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. There's a reason he's minus 2,000. There's a reason why the under 1.5 is a minus 200. It should happen. It will happen. Jacobe Smith wins this fight. Let's move on to the next one. Jhonata Diniz versus Alvin Hines. And I'm telling you right now again, if Jhonata Diniz does not knock this guy out in the first round, I don't know what the fuck is going on. This guy's just a meatball. Alvin Hines fighting the regionals. I mean, the guys he's fighting on the regional scene are a bunch of, I don't know, a bunch of Angelos. I don't know what else to call it. This guy's just a big, muscly meatball that's got okay takedowns, okay grappling, but he's never in his life seen a striker that has the precision, power, and everything that Jhonata Diniz has. As Jhonata Diniz comes in and starts wrestling with this guy or gets taken down early, I'm going to throw up in my mouth, spit it out, lick it up, and swallow it again. Jhonata Diniz has hurt pretty much everybody in the first round of every fight that he's had. He's had some mental lapses, going to the ground by Topuria. You knew he was going to get swept. Stay on the feet, take down the fence, light this guy up, leg kick, right hand, boom. Put this guy out 2 or 3 minutes. I'm going Jhonata Diniz should get done. What? Should get it done in spectacular fashion in the first round. This guy's not a UFC fighter. Talking about this guy Alvin Hines. But we'll see what happens. On to the next one. SD Dumas versus Jackson McVey. Two things can be true about Jackson McVey. He's fought fucking nobody. That's 100% true. Not very good people. 6'4", whatever he is. Last guy he fought was a 5'9", like wrestler that was just like eating knees. I don't know what the hell was going on with this guy. Hasn't fought the highest level of competition, but also you can tell he knows what he's doing. He's as Angel said, a come forward striker. Probably a little bit more comfortable in the wrestling, in the grappling, but he's got good kicks, good punches, good everything. SD Dumas doesn't like really being pressured. I think the confidence of Jackson McVey is going to determine this fight. He is going to own the center of the octagon, put the pressure on SD. And if SD is trying to shoot takedowns off of pressure, remember, SD is really kind of just a street fighter striker that has kind of tried to mix in some wrestling, some grappling, but doesn't really know what he's doing. And I'll tell you what, I know the level of competition wasn't there, but this guy McVey literally went head first into a Darce. I've never seen a Darce get locked up faster in my life. He went like literally diving like he was diving into the pool. Just straight fucking locked that shit up. And I think if SD Dumas thinks he's going to wrestle this guy, he is in for some big trouble. I don't really like all the money coming in on McVey. Very unproven, only 6-0. Hasn't fought anybody, but you can see the glimmer of brilliance in his fights at times, so I get it. He is going to be my pick, but if this turns into a little bit of a dogfight, SD Dumas, I know people kind of hate him, all the personal stuff, whatever it is, but he's got the experience here. We'll see what happens. Give me a McVey. Let's move on to the next one. Terrance McKinney versus Slava. This one is very interesting. I know people have their issues with Slav. I know people have their issues with Terrance McKinney. But to think that Terrance McKinney is going to come in and wrestle and ground and pounder submit Slav is very interesting. And also people are trying to put 1 and 1 plus 2 equals deal out with Chase Hooper knock down Slav. Imagine what Terrance McKinney's going to do. One punch is what it is. A little bit unexpected. Didn't really see it. Knocks him down. He recovered fine. And he was actually grappling pretty well defensively versus Chase Hooper. Slav is a guy typically on the ground that you really can't finish. He's been wrestle fucked for 15 minutes before, but to actually submit this guy, it took Chase Hooper a full fucking like 6 or 7 minutes to submit this guy. This fight's on the ground 6 or 7 minutes. Terrance McKinney's in trouble. If he thinks he's coming in and just taking this guy down and dominating him, Slav is going to make him work. And we've seen what happens when you make Terrance McKinney work. Also, the level of competition Terrance McKinney has been beating, not great. Last 4 opponents he's won since the quitting Frenchman Faris Diam in 2022 have a combined UFC record of 5-15. Slav is only 4-4-1 in the UFC, but I think his talent level, especially in the striking, is much higher than the people Terrance has been knocking out, taking down, and doing all type of stuff. I'm going with the dog pick here in Slavic because I think the defensive striking is good enough to stay safe. Even if he gets clipped, he's shown the ability to recover very, very quickly. And if this fight extends, we know who it favors. It's going to be Slava. So if Terrance comes in, thinks he's going to wrestle, I think he's going to struggle. If he comes in and blows his load trying to knock this guy out, I think he's going to struggle. Give me Slava at dog money. I will say Terrance McKinney right now, first round KO is plus 400, worth probably a little bit of a sprinkle. But Slava, I think, is going to get this done. Survive early. Maybe even find a shot of his own early. But if this gets out of the first round, we know what's going to happen probably. And that's going to be a Slava fight. Give me Slava to get it done. Let's move on. Vivi versus Tracy Cortez. I'm all over Tracy in this fight. I understand Vivi's coming off a big win, and I actually thought these odds would be a little bit closer. Tracy Cortez has been taken down by Rose in her last five-round main event. Looked like she wasn't quite ready for that level of competition, but Vivi is somebody that I know very well. Former lock of the week. I've also picked against her before. She is live early, going to be the more powerful striker early. I don't think she's going to be able to get the takedowns, but she could land some good shots on Tracy early. Tracy got dropped first round by Rose. But as the fight goes on, remember, Vivi, already 38 years old again. As the fights go on, she always starts to fade. And she's lucky in that last fight that Karine Silva faded more than her because she was also fading in that fight. That was a close fight. It was a good win. She dogged it out. But Tracy Cortez has shown against other grapplers, Melissa Gatto, Jasmine Jasdavicius, she can handle herself in the wrestling, in the grappling, and be the more volume striker, which I think is going to happen in this fight. She might drop the first round. Something could happen weird or whatever. The pressure, it's going to be close. But as the fight picks up, Tracy Cortez boxing pressure is going to start wearing on Vivi. And I understand the odds. I'm going Tracy Cortez. I understand the minus 250. I almost played the minus 3.5 plus 160 for Tracy Cortez. But the scorecards could be weird, especially in that first round, because Vivi's probably the more powerful striker. Should fade. Tracy will take over. Give me Tracy Cortez in this fight. Let's move on to the next one. Hyder Amil versus Jose Delgado. Let me preface this by saying I've been kind of a Hyder hater. Right, I had Fernie over here. My guy Fernie almost got it done. Her shoulder hurt him a little bit. I was all over William Gomez and was at that fight. I feel like Jose Delgado is almost like a William Gomez, except for he is going to be pushing the pressure. If there's anything in this fight that I got for premium members, only $10 a month, is under 2.5 at plus 100. Both these guys are bulldogs. Both these guys want to put the pressure on their opponent. And when you get two guys like that, it sparks. It's conflict, and it's a finish. That under 2.5 right now is a minus 160. Still moving. I got that for plus 100. I'm going to go Jose Delgado because I just think he's the more refined fighter. He's got power in his hands. He can throw extended combinations. But he's also got some grappling as well. I think he's a slicker grappler. While Hyder is more of a bully and a bulldog and will get in your face and make it sloppy. He's a durable guy, and I respect the toughness of Hyder at this point. He has shown you can't discredit the toughness. But I think it's the extended combinations and the grappling submission threats that are a little bit underrated for Jose Delgado. Don't be a surprise if Hyder gets in a little bit of a trouble. Shoot some takedowns, and Delgado's able to work a scramble and find a submission as a flyer in this fight. I'm going Delgado because I think he's a little bit more refined. I respect the toughness of both these guys. This should be a fun fight. They both want to control the middle of the octagon. Whoever's able to do that and push the opponent backwards is probably going to win. I think it's going to be Delgado, but we'll see. Let's move on to the next one. Jack Hermansson versus Gregory Rodrigues. I know a lot of people want to hate Gregory for that fight, the 5-round fight versus Jared Cannonier. Beat the ever-living fuck out of Jared Cannonier in the first round. Got a little bit tired and was like, oh yeah, this is 5 rounds. Let me coast a little bit in the second round. Got touched up a little bit for it. But then came back in the third round and looked great again. Was laying, yeah, he was getting hit as well, but he came back, was forward pressure, was landing some good shots, was controlling that round, in my opinion, until that elbow landed. Boop. What, 15, 20 seconds left, dropped him. He was never really able to recover after that. But it looked like he was going to win probably 2 of those first 3 rounds. Jack Hermansson, everyone wants to tout his fight versus Joe Pyfer. And oh, here, you know, he did it. He made another power puncher tired, and he was able to get that win. That was a 5-round fight. He dropped the first 2 rounds. If that was a 3-round fight, he lost. And now Gregory Rodrigues is probably a minus 350 favorite. So although people want to hate on Gregory and say he might have gas tank issues, it's a 3-round fight. Things are much different. Jack Hermansson was getting touched up, pushed around, looked a little bit lost in the striking. Is always coming off a layoff. Started to find his way back into that fight versus Joe Pyfer. But a 3-round fight, you drop the first 2 rounds, it could be a little bit too late. What I do worry about a little bit is maybe Gregory starts changing. Maybe he panics a little bit. Starts changing up the game plan. Oh man, I can't go for these big knockouts. Oh man, Joe Pyfer tried to knock him out and he couldn't. Maybe I'm going to go back to my wrestling, my grappling. I think that's a mistake because that's what Jack Hermansson wants to do. Gregory is going to be the better striker, the more dangerous fighter. 3 rounds, I think he's going to be good to go. And I don't really discredit people too much for getting tired trying to chase finishes. That's what you're supposed to do in fights. You have somebody hurt, you go all in for the finish, you get tired, it is what it is. In this fight, Gregory is the better fighter. Jack isn't crazy dangerous on the feet where we've seen Gregory get chinned in the past. We'll see what happens, but this should be a good spot for Gregory. He is going to be my pick. Let's move on to the next one. Payton Talbott versus Felipe Lima. I've been all over Felipe Lima since he came into the UFC, and I'm sticking with him. I'll be honest, I looked at this fight originally, rewatched that Payton fight versus Hani, and I was like, listen, you know, I know he was getting taken down control, but hit a nice lat drop in that 3rd round, had his own control versus Hani. In the striking, he still looked fast. He's still a dangerous striker. Felipe's got to be careful with all that spinning bullshit that he wants to do. Let's tighten it up, Felipe. This guy's not to be fucked with on the feet. And I know you're probably going to get your takedown, some control. He's going to make you work. But on the feet, I don't want to see the spinning elbows, the spinning back kicks. Because you miss one of those or Payton sees it. This kid, I know people want to hate on this kid right now. He's still got power in his hands. He's still a very dangerous striker. He's a long, rangy guy. And if you're spinning and you catch a shot, boom. We saw Felipe get stunned just a little bit versus Miles Johns. And Miles Johns can hit pretty hard. A little bit cause for concern. I assume the wrestling's going to be there. Takedowns are going to be there. Felipe's probably more of a dangerous grappler than a Hani. So maybe we'll find a submission threat for Felipe. But just hang out. Stay safe in the striking. Get your takedowns. Get your win versus a dangerous guy. This is a big name. Big win. Main card. Don't try to show out and make a statement, Felipe. This is still a dangerous guy. I've said he's one of the best 135 prospects coming into this since he's been in the UFC. I'm sticking with the Felipe Lima gets it done. Should have a size advantage as well. Remember, he's been at 145. He can fight either division. Give me Felipe Lima to get it done over Payton Talbott. Move on to the next one. Dariush versus Renato Moicano. And I know it sounds like a lot of people on Dariush. I'm going to be on Dariush as well. I get it. Maybe we're all wrong. I don't know. This guy was a minus 150 favorite versus Charles Oliveira. Now he's an underdog for Renato Moicano. I don't really get it. The fight should play out how the Charles fight was playing out. Renato is not a dangerous guy on the feet. He's got 2 TKO wins, I think, in his career, and those are his last 2 wins, some ground and pound type wins. I don't see Moicano having top control over Dariush. I don't see Dariush flat on his back with Moicano mounted on him, raining elbows, looking for submissions. Dariush is not a guy that gets held down. And if you're not holding him down, now you're on the feet. And I know Dariush has been been hurt. Moicano's not really a dangerous guy. He's not throwing the weird stuff. He's just kind of a tight, technical Muay Thai striker that Dariush should be able to see those type of stuff coming. But it should look like the beginning of that Charles fight. There was a reason why Dariush was a minus 150 favorite over Charles fucking Oliveira. He took him down. He was controlling him. Charles hit some scrambles. Dariush got back to his feet, got caught a little bit. But Charles, I think we would argue, all agree, is a much more dangerous striker than a Jhonata Moicano. So I imagine Dariush is going to come in, get an early takedown, feel out the grappling, and if it works, he just goes back to that. And if it doesn't work, he kind of just hangs out on the feet, waits for Moicano to come forward. Moicano's been chinned as well. Throw that big power, maybe connect. So I get all the plays. I haven't bet Dariush yet because it does concern me a little bit that everybody fucking loves Dariush and he's still an underdog on the money line. But I'm going Dariush here. It should be pretty cut and dry in my opinion, but we'll see how it plays out. Maybe Moicano has a trick up his sleeve. I'm going Dariush. Let's move on to the next one. Brandon Royval versus Joshua Van. Another very intriguing fight. Odds going back and forth. Van a favorite, Van a dog, Van a favorite again. I think he's minus 125 is when I'm filming this fight. I like Josh Van in this fight because Royval, I respect his toughness. I respect his range in fights. He's very good at keeping distance with kicks and all that type of stuff. I understand the pace, the cardio, the stuff that he can set. This is only a 3-round fight. He's been squeaking out some 5-round decisions using that cardio, using that pace, that pressure, that volume. 3 rounds kind of condenses all that, especially against a guy like Josh Van, who's not going to have any issues in a 3-round fight matching any type of pace that Royval wants to set. Royval, in his striking, is a very lackluster boxer, in my opinion. And if Joshua Van just stays all the way out from the kicks or gets all the way inside those kicks, he's going to have some really good success. Because Royval wants to, he gets hit a lot in the pocket. And now we're coming off a situation where I think there is a little bit of a concern for a guy like Royval who's coming off those back-to-back concussions, was put out cold, rumors say, and he said that he had a really bad concussion. Couldn't even form sentences. His words, not mine. A week after he got knocked out. That's a bad concussion. Joshua Van typically isn't a power puncher, has a lot of decision wins, just kind of out-voluming people. But he's starting to sit on punches a little bit more. It's not outside the realm of possibility that Joshua Van is able to get inside the kicking range and the movement of Brandon Royval touch his chin, and we'll see if it holds up as it has in the past. But Brandon Royval, to me, is a lackluster boxer who relies on 5 rounds of space and availability to be able to win rounds in out volume type of situations. And even those situations, he's winning splits, close decisions. Joshua Van knows he's got to stay in this guy's face. He's going to be cutting him off. He's going to be backing him against the fence. And in those situations, Royval's not going to be able to use those kicks to score. And in the hands, with the boxing, Joshua Van is a much better boxer. So without the 5 rounds to work with, to be able to squeak out some different situations, I do worry about a little bit of Joshua Van kind of crashing in a little bit too much. And obviously Royval's always going to be live for those wild, just jump on your back takes or wild scrambles or whatever, but should stay standing. Joshua Van's the better striker of the two. Pick the better striker in a mostly striking matchup. I'm doing it here. Joshua Van gets it done. Let's move on to the next one. Co-main event, Pantoja versus Kai Kara-France. Alexandre Pantoja is one of the most disrespected champions of our generation. I think he's still like 8 or 9 on the pound for pound list. I don't know what this guy's got to do. Maybe if he finishes Kai Kara-France, he'll start getting the respect he deserves. This guy just goes about his business. And I've been a Pantoja hater in the past before. I said the guy can't really strike for shit. He just bullies his way in. Eventually he's going to get caught. But he just keeps doing it. And maybe Kai Kara-France is a guy with the speed, don't blink, all this type of stuff, is able to find Pantoja's chin and finally drop him or hurt him in this type of situation. But I believe that this is going to look like the Kai Kara-France-Albazi fight. Kai Kara-France was just dancing around the outside, was worried about those takedowns. And there's a reason he was. In that 3rd round of the Albazi fight, he was taken down, almost choked out. If that's Pantoja, he probably does get choked out. The good news is for Pantoja is he should be a little bit more of an active fighter than Albazi. Albazi was also kind of just following and waiting. Pantoja doesn't really wait for shit. So if you're backing up already against the fence, Pantoja's going to blitz you. He's going to get you against the fence. And all the takedown defense in the world doesn't really work on a guy like Pantoja because he's just so fucking strong, man. Okay, you want to stuff the head, he's going to switch to a single. I mean, he just does it. He just knows what to do. And he'll just drag you to the ground or jump your back. So all the takedown defense in the world that I know Kai Kara-France is going to be working on, I don't think it's going to work. This feels like it's going to look like a Corey Sandhagen-Umar fight to where Corey Sandhagen probably did. I mean, he did great with the takedown defense against Umar. But when you're so worried about just focusing on the takedown defense, you forget to get your offense off. You already saw that once in Kai Kara-France a little bit with Albazi. Couldn't really get the offense off. He probably did win that fight. But against Pantoja, if you're backing up, he's going to be on you with the big strikes, up against the fence, on your hips, taking you down, dragging you down. He's a durable guy, 5 rounds experience, all this type of stuff. Kai Kara-France's got to bring the pressure, back this guy up, try to hurt him early, get in a brawl, and trust his hands. Because if he just keeps waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for those takedowns, he's going to get worn down. And then the hands and the speed and the power won't be there to get Pantoja off of him in the later rounds. So I got to go Pantoja here. I've been a hater, but I'm on him now. I don't see anybody beating him. Don't blink Kai Kara-France. Maybe he gets it done. But Pantoja is just such a blockhead, such a bully. Gets his hands on you, drags you to the ground, holds you, and can hold his own in the striking as well. So give me Pantoja to get it done. Main event time. We got Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira. If you are Charles Oliveira, to win this fight, you have to decide, am I going to be Charles Oliveira or am I going to be boring? Because Charles Oliveira can win this fight. He's got to win this fight by extending the fight. What I mean by he has to make the decision is you can't come in and be typical Charles Oliveira. Forward pressure with the boxing, try to land the Muay Thai, get in this guy's face. You can't do it, man. I'm going to say something real crazy here. You have to be Ryan Hall. Without the Imanari rules. I'm not saying going in there and Imanari rule and all this stuff and bullshit, but Ryan Hall, when he wasn't Imanari rolling, he just stays in space. Ryan Hall knows how to fight like Ryan Hall. He stays in space, no punches, no boxing, just kicks, because if you catch a kick, who gives a fuck? Ryan Hall wants to go to the ground. The safest place for Charles Oliveira to be is at space with kicks, teep kick. Just fucking keep this guy away from you. And if he decides he wants to catch a kick and take you down, then you can survive probably off your back long enough to extend the fight. You have the experience. 5 rounds. Extend the fight, Charles Oliveira. Do not be typical Charles Oliveira. Get in there. Teep kick. Back up, circle, away, make this guy chase you, make this guy frustrated, and then once you get into the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round, then you can try to start boxing a little bit because his speed will drop, his power will drop, all that type of stuff will be there. But I don't think that's going to happen. Charles Oliveira is who he is. He's going to come in. He's not going to fight scared. He's going to stand his ground. He might get backed up a little bit. The boxing's going to be too much. He's not going to be able to take down a guy like Ilia. In my opinion, he's just way too compact, way too strong. He knows how to wrestle, grapple. I'm with everyone else in the world. I got to go with Ilia here. I think it's going to be ugly, obviously, with the big knockout, any type of that type of stuff. But Charles Oliveira, I wouldn't count him out too crazy. I just think his mentality is too aggressive for him to win this fight. If he was just playing it cool, outside, dance around, get to that late second, get into the 3rd round, and then see what happens, I don't think it's going to happen. He's probably going to meet fire with fire and brimstone, and might get knocked out, flatline, retire. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going Ilia here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Like the video if you did. Subscribe if you are new. WeWantPicks.com. Only $10 a month. I'll probably be live streaming this one this Saturday, so hold on tight. We could make billions of dollars. UFC 317. Thank you guys. I'm out.